Hi everyone, what you see here is the river Lonza that is flowing again, water that is flowing through the debris cone, and you see here the dam in Blatten. So they have opened a lower area that doesn't go through the turbines that create electricity, and you see it's flowing down into the major areas, and I want to show you on the map where everything is, because now you see the brown water that is coming from the disaster site from Blatten. Of course, water is coming down from streams further down the valley, but the Lonza has made its way through the debris cone, a small way, but we see the water is coming and the dam, the lake is filling up again there. They had it completely emptied, and what they're doing now is they're decommissioning bridges further downstream. So I want to show you that map here. So you see in red, that is Blatten, that is the village that has been buried by this landslide, but also you see here Ried, that has also been covered, unfortunately, by the mud and debris. And the interesting thing here is if you look at Weißenried here, that's on the other side of the slope. In that area, we had the photographer that was filming the masses coming down. And now so many comment, it looks like the explosion of Mount St. Helens. My first thought was that looks like 9/11, the dust cloud coming towards you and follow you. So stuff like this, it really looks massive. And even up to that hill, we have pictures now that homes are being destroyed and covered in rubble. Some are still standing, but the force was so intense that it also pushed debris up the hill on the other side, and that can come down as well. And here you see the Fafla Alp. This is this hotel where 10 employees had been trapped. They were not in the danger area, but they couldn't get out. Now they got everyone out with helicopters. And then further downstream here from the disaster area is Vila and Kippel. They had been evacuated because they were worried that if the dam, here I call that dam, but debris cone, if the river comes there rapidly through that cone or wash it down, we could see a flood here in Vila and Kippel. Blatten, this is where the dam is. This is where the lake is that they had drained, that is filling up now with all the brown water. And then you see it goes down all the valley here to Gampel and Steg, and I'm showing you the animation here where the river is actually going. And Gampel and Steg, these are over 3,000 people in there, and it's a larger town. And this is where the Lonza basically meets another river, the Rhone. And the thing is now, they're having two issues. Of course, we're still worried that more water at once might come. It looks calm for now. It hasn't been raining yet. It's sunny and warm, so there's meltwater that's coming into the Lonza from all these areas here. That's why they said if big logs and debris or something like that should arrive at the dam here, they also tried to get big logs and derooted trees out with helicopters. So that's going to be interesting. I hope we see some video footage of that too. So down here in Gampel and Steg, you see the water coming, the brown muddy water, and they have decommissioned all the bridges because they're worried that debris might come that might get stuck on the bridges. And what they also have, you see these excavators that are leaned towards the river. They're there to get stuff out should there be any clogs. So still here in Gampel and Steg, there's a map where you see the red area. So the red area basically in Gampel and Steg that you see on that map here, they would be evacuated should there a bigger problem arise. And in the other areas that you see on that map, people should not be on in the basement or in the ground level. They would have to go higher up in their houses. And yes, houses in Switzerland and Europe, they are constructed. They won't wash away from a flood. They're not wood frame houses. The problem at the dam is right now, and the lake behind it is still the rubble and the debris. because now they have the lower department opened. But should there be any debris or anything down there, you see this open where the water is getting through, it could be clogged. And the deputy head of the Cantonal Department for Civil and Military Security has said the situation could quickly worsen if the bottom valve in the reservoir were to become clogged with sediment. So it doesn't even need heavy locks or anything. There's a lot of sediment and sand in that river that's causing problems. So reservoirs refilling, one lock has been fully open since yesterday evening. They have installed numerous measuring devices around that lake now to monitor the lake above that debris cone. Also the Lonza and the Verden Reservoir. What they said just in a press conference, due to the high level of danger in the disaster area, the deployment of relief workers on site is still not possible. The threat comes from rocks that could fall from the mountain and from the instability of the debris mass itself. So Lonza River is continuing to flow down over the full length of the debris cone. The crucial thing is, at the dam in Verden, they need to secure the retention function of the lake. This is very important. They need to stabilize the reservoir's water level because it's now refilling. And that's why they have to get rid of debris that could endanger that. And you see also, if you look at the river that is reaching the village of Gampel and the Lonza, it's like a brown sauce and it's visibly carrying debris and rubble. We have also news, is there still Glacier, the Böch Glacier, does it still exist? Is there still something up on the mountain? And the press conference that they gave on Saturday, they said the glacier is in the valley. And according to experts, not much of the lower Böch Glacier remains. That is sad. What they said also is the Lonza River appears to have found its way. That's what the mayor of Blatten said. However, it is in the nature of things that during heavy snowmelt that's about to come, the water level in the dammed lake can rise again, also through the rain that is coming. The mountain, the Kleines Nesthorn, continues to erode. That's another problem. The mountain, what they said today is, quote, the mountain hasn't found its center yet. But currently, that's the good thing, there are only small erosion sites. So we don't see another big crack that could send something massive down the valley again. And they said about the village of Blatten, a new Blatten must grow now, and we will do everything possible to outline this. We will support the residents of the municipality in their search for housing, and we will also provide them with financial support through the donations. That's what the mayor said. Overall, what they say is that by Saturday afternoon, for now, they say the situation is generally somewhat better than yesterday. However, they say there are always dangers such as the large rocks and something like this. So they make it clear the situation is therefore still unstable. So it is necessary, that's their first priority, to ensure that the river flows at a relatively stable rate, that it's not blocked anywhere. And interesting, now they have a little bit of an estimate how much water is in that lake that has formed in Blatten and has basically buried the rest of the houses that haven't been buried by the rubble. So they say the water level in that lake is now 1 meter lower, like 3 feet something, than yesterday. So the volume in that lake is now around 800,000 cubic meters of water, instead of the previous approximately 1 million cubic meters of water. But the outflow is slow, but for now they say that's a good thing, as it reduces the risk of something unforeseen happening. And I've said it in my last video, that was so great. I got a comment from one viewer of my channel who's one of the team that has the boots on the ground, who said, you have to be careful because you don't know where the ice of the glacier is in that pile of rubble, because the ice will not melt that fast. So if there's more glacier ice on the bottom of that pile of rubble. It could create a slippery slope for the material above, and it could at some time, everything could break away at once. And I have another interesting comment that I want to tell you about. So he writes, young lady, you need to be aware of the fact that what you see spilling over the top of the debris is of little consequence. The biggest concern for right now is that the water is finding its way under the mass of debris. And when it reaches critical mass, it will begin to carry, in brackets float, the debris downstream. And if the rate of descent is great enough, it will pick up speed. The runoff on top is also percolating down and adding to the undercurrent. All the contributaries at the point of the slide and upstream are adding to the condition that I mentioned earlier. I'll read you that comment as well. Keep in mind, the debris mass has not compacted yet. Yeah, that's true. And is still very easily influenced by surrounding forces. Yes, temporarily, the body of water being formed at the head of the debris pile is growing, but that could change at any time. There's also the glacier on the right flank of the Erdrutsch glacier, affecting whether or not that massive rock that's still sitting up there will come down. That's definitely very, very true, because we visibly see the water flowing on top of that debris cone, but it's also infiltrating through all that, which makes it so unstable, and it could give way. And this is another interesting comment. It's the damped water is not what you see filtering through the debris. The water flowing on top of the mud is the stream from the glacier still running, along with all the inputs from all the hanging valleys as the mountains warm up in the summer. Yes, there's still water coming down also in Blatten from the mountain sides that is also flowing on that debris cone. But definitely by now the river is also flowing over it. But yeah, that is a point, is along with all the inputs from the hanging valleys as the mountains warm up in the summer, the danger will not come from the dammed water cutting through, but from the side streams cutting back a channel to the site of the original side stream and weakening the blockage, so the weight of dammed water blasts it out and rushes downstream to the Rhone, taking out Gampel. That is still the risk. So that's why they're saying right now it looks like not too much water is coming. But yeah, that could be a sleeping threat for sure. Thanks for that comment. That's why I guess the reporters asked today at the press conference, well, you have opened one lock at the dam. So should there be more water or should there problems, can you open more locks of the dam? And then the experts have explained that things have been okay so far. And if the floodgates are opened more, there are risks that they want to avoid. They say, quote, we're studying other options for emptying the dam. For example, using pumps. That's not so easy. The reservoir can easily be filled up to 2/3. So this poses no danger to Gampel and Steg should that happen. Furthermore, a helicopter will be used on Sunday to remove uprooted trees from the reservoir, but they are prepared to carry out evacuations in the event of an emergency, meaning too much water is collecting there. The search for the missing person, a 64-year-old shepherd that unfortunately seems to have been in the area when the disaster happened. Now it continues. They say all efforts are underway to locate this person quickly. As for what is the composition of the debris that we're dealing with, so they think that about 9 million cubic meters have come down in that landslide, and they think that it's from that 9 million, it's probably 3 million cubic meters of ice from the glacier and 6 million cubic meters of rock. So guys, I will keep you updated about this. If you want to know everything that has happened, go to my channel start page, click on videos, click on recent. You see everything there, or check out the videos in the end screen. So for now, things are, they don't say it's stable, but somewhat wait and see, I guess. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please like it, subscribe, click the notification bell. And if you want to support the channel, I have a buy me a coffee site. You can buy me a coffee there. Leave me a message. I can answer with a video message, and then you can video message me back and I can video message you back so we can actually see each other. I think this is a cool site. That's why I like the coffee site more than Patreon or anything else. And it's too confusing to have too much stuff. So thanks for supporting this channel. Shout out to all my members. Hello to my new members of the channel. If you want to join the channel, click the join button and check out the links in the description. There's everything, the coffee site, how you can join. And thanks for the supers, and just thanks for watching and giving me your comments and your opinions. And it's so great to have insight from Switzerland. So shout out to all the people in Switzerland. So ein schönes Land. Ich war immer gern dort. Ich hoffe, dass nicht noch mehr passiert. So thank you for watching, guys. I see you soon. Bye bye.